For the first time in years, Serie A is cooking up an exciting title race for the ages. Last season, Inter Milan won the Scudetto convincingly by nearly 20 points, while the season before that, Napoli did so in similarly dominant fashion. This season, however, is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in recent memory, with the title race heating up between Inter and Napoli right down to the wire. Even third-placed Atalanta, though a long shot, still holds a mathematical chance of pulling off a historic victory. So, what's happening in Serie A? Allow me to explain by giving you an overview of how this season's title race has evolved so far. From the start, the pressure was always going to be on Inter as the favourites to add a 21st Scudetto to their collection. Since the end of Juventus' 9-year title winning streak in 2021, no team has successfully won the Serie A in back-to-back seasons. However, Inter have quietly showcased their potential to build a dynasty in Italian football. Think about it. They ended Juventus' dominance in 2021, took the title race to the final day in 2022, and looked unbeatable on their way to winning it in 2024. They've also recently reached the Europa and Champions League finals and pulled off the Coppa Italia and Supercoppa double twice. Unlike Napoli, who struggled after their title-winning season in 2022-23, Inter have also enjoyed stability thanks to their managerial continuity and a change in ownership. And, for the first time in 4 years, they have managed to retain their key players while also bringing in reinforcements like Piotr Zielinski and Mehdi Taremi. Their early season form reflected this promise, losing just once in their first 23 matches and accumulating an impressive 54 points out of a possible 69, which included dominant 4-0 and 6-0 victories over top-table rivals Atalanta and Lazio respectively. Meanwhile, Napoli, under their new manager Antonio Conte, also looked poised to reclaim the title. However, this potential wasn't immediately apparent at the start of the season as they suffered a shocking 3-0 defeat to Hellas Verona on the opening matchday. For a coach known for his strong views on club transfer spending, it was concerning for Napoli supporters to hear Conte voice his dissatisfaction with the situation after just one match in charge. In fairness to Conte, his frustration was understandable. Napoli had made a complete mess of Victor Osimhen's pre-planned exit, which put their summer recruitment strategy on hold for weeks and left them in a precarious position heading into the league season. However, when Napoli did eventually secure some of Conte's transfer targets, the magic began to unfold, and the Napoli squad that had finished 10th in the 2023-24 season started playing like the one that had been crowned champions the season before. Just a week after the Verona debacle, Napoli embarked on a 9-game unbeaten run, amassing 25 points from a possible 27, with summer signings Romelu Lukaku, a Conte favorite, Scott McTominay, and Alessandro Buongiorno all integral to the team's sudden turnaround. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, subscribe so that you don't miss out on our future videos. When Atalanta triumphed over Liverpool at Anfield and defeated the previously invincible Bayer Leverkusen to clinch the Europa League last season, it marked a pivotal moment for the club. Their experience from a grueling 56-game season, which included reaching 2 finals, winning 1, and still finishing in the top 4 of the Serie A, sparked a new ambition for trophies within a club that only recently evolved from a mid-tier to a heavyweight player in the sport. Impressively, Atalanta have achieved top 4 finishes in 4 of the last 5 seasons under the guidance of Gianpiero Gasperini. However, this season presented a new challenge reminiscent of what Napoli faced in the summer of 2023. Could they maintain their players' hunger, motivation, and commitment after finally winning a coveted trophy? As it turned out, their early season form indicated that not only could they maintain their momentum, but also exceed expectations. Atalanta surged to the top of Serie A after 15 games, setting a new club record with a remarkable 11-game winning run from early October through Christmas that positioned them as surprise contenders for their first ever league title. Their squad boasts a unique mix of youth, depth, and experience, with 11 of the 17 players who logged the most minutes in the first half of the season being 25 or younger, and their ability to get results during an early season injury crisis, where midfielders and wingbacks had to step in to cover defensively, only strengthened their credentials as genuine title contenders. By late February, Gasparini's side remained in the Scudetto fight but had begun struggling for wins at home, relying heavily on their away form to stay in the race. Napoli, meanwhile, were on a hot streak, winning 7 consecutive games between mid-December and February, culminating in a dramatic comeback win over fellow title contenders Juventus. However, the winter transfer market would once again prove to be a source of immense frustration for Conte. The January departure of Kvaratskhelia to Paris Saint-Germain was a significant blow for Napoli, but it shouldn't have been anything close to being fatal. After all, the €70 million deal was expected to provide funds for reinvestment in the squad, with the expectation of securing a direct replacement in the left-wing position. In this regard, Alejandro Garnacho, who had been struggling at Manchester United under new boss Ruben Amorim, emerged as Conte's top choice. In the end, however, Napoli not only failed to agree personal terms with the Argentine, but also couldn't convince second choice Karim Adeyemi to join from Dortmund. As a result, they had to settle for a deadline day loan deal for Noah Okafor from AC Milan, a move that smacked of desperation and did little to boost their title challenge. Napoli then faced their most challenging month yet, failing to win a single Serie A game in February after 3 consecutive draws against Roma, Udinese, and Lazio, followed by a 2-1 loss to Como. A worrying trend also emerged within the team, as they often looked fatigued in the closing stages of matches and ended up conceding goals in the final 15 minutes across 3 consecutive away games, costing them 5 crucial points. While Lukaku has partially filled the void left by Osimhen, who departed last summer for a loan deal with Galatasaray, it has taken a collective effort to compensate for Kvaratskhelia's output. Lukaku's dip in form in February, with no goals in 4 games, certainly hasn't helped, while Napoli either lacked adequate alternatives on the bench or were missing options due to injury. And the fact that McTominay is their second top scorer in the league after Lukaku also reflects poorly on the rest of the forward line. Nonetheless, their title challenge has just about remained alive, buoyed by a league-best defensive unit that conceded only 25 goals in 31 games. Across the entire season to date, Simeone Inzaghi's Inter have shown the most consistency among the 3 title challengers, blending a solid defense with a potent attack, as evidenced by their league-leading goal tally. Like Conte, his predecessor at Inter, Inzaghi deploys a 3-5-2 formation, but that is where their similarities end, because while Conte's teams typically win but can be tough to watch, Inzaghi's version of Inter is fluid, graceful, and attacking. His players frequently switch positions. Defenders move into midfield, midfielders drift out to the wings, and forwards like to drop deep. What stands out most when you watch them is their constant movement, 10 players shifting in unison like a school of fish. It's an extraordinary blend of structure and individual freedom that opens up space, pulls opposition players out of their positions, and creates dangerous scoring opportunities. The system's fluidity is evident in the fact that, despite having 2 reliable offensive threats in Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram that perfectly complement their overall strategy, their goals have come from 16 different players this season. This adaptability means that even when Inzaghi was forced to improvise due to an injury crisis sidelining all his conventional left-backs, the team was able to adjust. Centre-back Alessandro Bastoni, for instance, stepped in effectively, as he was already accustomed to advancing high up the pitch and occupying positions typical of a left wing-back. It's fair to say Inzaghi's side are an everything team. With 32 of 38 matches already played this season, Inter remain top of the table, 3 points clear of Conte's Napoli. Atalanta, who were once in the title race as recently as early March, now find themselves distanced from the top, their title aspirations fading after a poor run of form. While Inter aren't as dominant as last season and have dropped more points this campaign, they are still favourites to retain the title. The pressing question is whether Conte can guide his team over the finish line, which is certainly not beyond the realms of possibility due to one significant factor in their favour: the fixture list. Inter are still competing on multiple fronts, while Napoli are enjoying the advantage of being able to focus solely on Serie A, and, as was the case during his stints at Chelsea and Juventus, Conte excels in such circumstances. With no further matchups between Inter and Napoli this season, it's up to both teams to win their remaining matches in what promises to be a thrilling title race until the very end. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to hit notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.